Announcement and wonderful just welcome from all of you guys for the next step of this journey. It is with faith and gratitude that I take the next step of this journey with you. I don't do it alone. All of you are here supporting me. I can tell you that I remember one of the first classes that I ever took was with a woman back there, Rosa Peralta. She supported me very early in my journey when I wasn't sure if I was going to be an LUT or a minister. And it took me a long time and a hurricane to get me to the point, and COVID, to get me to the point where I said, okay, it's going to be ministerial school instead of an LUT. There were some bumps along the way. The hurricane, COVID, there's a lot of things to throw me off that faith path, that path that I'm meant to be on. And maybe you feel that as well. Maybe you put your faith in something outside of yourself, and then when there's a hiccup in the road, you find yourself struggling a little bit. So we're going to talk about what faith and gratitude mean here today. So as we explore our journey into faith and gratitude today, I do want us to answer the question, what does it mean to live from faith? Because I'm talking about something different than having faith in something outside of yourself. And along this way, we're going to take a little journey. We're going to make a little pit stop in India, and we're going to see what happens when a young man gets gifted an amulet and what he learns about faith and gratitude. I love stories. But before we do that, I'm going to invite you into a little moment of self-awareness. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes for just a moment, and I want to ask you some questions. As you take a breath, I want you to think about this and ponder these questions. What do you think when you hear the phrase, I have faith in? What comes to your mind? What is it that you have faith in? I'm going to invite you to take a breath. I'm going to invite you to really center yourself in this Christ consciousness, in this inner awareness of divine presence. And I invite you to open yourself up to your own faith. What does this affirmation feel like? I am an expression of faith from Source. I am an expression of faith from Source. Does this feel different than saying, I have faith in? And if so, I just invite you to acknowledge that difference. How does it feel to know that faith is something that flows from you, from Source, from that inner power, that presence that we call God? Whether you call it Christ Spirit, Buddha nature, whatever name you give to it, divine spark, how does that feel? I just want you to keep this in your mind as we go through today's lesson. And now I invite you to open back up your eyes for a moment. We'll do a meditation at the end. I tend to like my meditations at the end because we get to put all the goodness into practice. How many of you, after that, realizing there are still times that you put your faith in something outside of yourself instead of always on the inside? You have that awareness? Somebody posted on Facebook thanking me for reminding him of this and then said, oops, I did it again. So I want you to take that idea with you. Whenever you start to think about something outside of yourself, of having faith in something out there that you think is going to change your life versus going from the power within, just say, oops, I did it again. Maybe even to the like, oops, I did it again. Right? Think about that. Give yourself some grace, because many of us still carry this baggage with us. How many of you, when you were small, prayed to a God outside of yourself that was separate and distant and in another realm and wasn't here? Now, you grew up with that understanding, and to undo all that understanding takes time. It takes deep time, deep work. I can still say, oops, I did it again, because it still happens to me, right? But in unity, we've come into a greater spiritual understanding. We know that the presence of God is everywhere present, and if it's everywhere, if you think of it like a universal energy, everywhere present, divine law, everywhere present, no spot where God is not, then it's in me, it's in you, it's in each and every single one of you. Each and every single one of you. That's quite a different paradigm than living from this idea that you're going to have faith in something outside of yourself. So remember, the oops, I did it again, anytime it comes up. And give yourself a little bit more grace along this roadway. You can also take in your heart or mind this affirmation to remind yourself, I am an expression of faith from Source. So I'm going to invite you to shift your perspective here today. Shift your perspective of what you think faith is and where it is located and where it flows forth from. So Eric Butterworth defines this word. You know me, I love my definitions. He defines faith as this, probably the best definition of faith I've ever read. Consciousness centered in universal source. Not trust, not belief, not I'm hoping for. Consciousness centered in universal source. That is the origin and essence of our faith. So I'm going to invite you to shift your perspective from a faith outside of you to a faith that resonates and comes from within. Now, Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, also had something to say about faith. He saw this as one of the 12 powers, one of the fundamental things, the abilities, the faculties that humans are born with and can utilize as they relate to the presence of God. And so he says this, he says that faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. The perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. But that isn't all he says. He also says faith is more than mere belief. It is the very substance of that which is believed. This one took me a moment to recognize, oh wait, that's like deeper than deep, right? The very substance of which is believed. Because if you believe God is everywhere present, what is faith? Faith is the very substance of God. Whoa. That changes your perspective of where faith comes from. It's about a from flowing forth in you rather than something directed outside of yourself. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to live from faith. So rather than viewing faith like we did in our childhood, geared towards a God outside of ourselves, I'm going to ask you to shift. Shift to understanding that it comes from that power within you. I'm not saying power on an ego trip. I'm saying power centered in universal source. A power that comes from the presence of God itself. So this is different. And it means we have to live differently. Because it means that part of living from this faith means that we recenter ourselves again and again and again. How many of you had at least one moment today where you felt a little discentered or unregulated, where you had to center yourself again by breathing in and come back to that thing, right? We all do this. And so that is the practice, to recenter ourselves, to have that consciousness centered from source. Do you believe when Jesus told his disciples that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, that you can move mountains. Do you believe that for yourself? And if you say no, I'm going to ask you why not. What is it that's preventing you from taking that next step? Because I can tell you, it's not that I didn't have doubts about the ministerial program. It's not that there weren't times where I said, nope, that call's not for me, wrong number, because I did. But ultimately, it required me to say yes, to believe that I had the power to move any obstacles, any mountains that would come in my pathway, because this was the pathway I was called to take. What is that pathway for you? And if you've already went through a career and retired, there's still probably a pathway that's there. I'm sure you're not 6 feet under yet, okay? There's still a pathway. It can be small, something small. It could be stepping into a new role. Maybe it's just, okay, I want to help out on Sunday mornings doing something here at the church. Or maybe it's, hey, I want to volunteer at that organization that I always thought was doing really great work, and now I can take the next step to do it. So what does that look like for you? Jesus also invited his disciples to do even greater things, saying, you will do even greater things. So if you've done great things in the past, here's your invitation to do even greater things. You're not done yet. You are not done yet. So what does it mean to live from faith? It means that we have to have faith, trust. We have to live from the presence of God in us. That has to be the starting point. There's a reason why Charles Fillmore had this as one of the first 12 powers to explore, because faith is fundamental to this process. It doesn't mean that there's not anxiety sometimes. It doesn't mean that sometimes we don't doubt. What it means is when we doubt, we come back to what we know has worked, that centering presence. How many of you have been anxious or had some difficulty in life where you centered yourself in that presence and you knew it was going to be okay? Has everybody experienced that at least once? I hope so. I hope more than once. So that is what it means to live from our faith. Living from our faith, though, also means that we acknowledge our gratitude. There is a real-world neurological connection between faith and gratitude. So before I go to the next slide, I'm going to explain this a little bit, because some people might forget that neuroplasticity is a thing. So, yes, we are older than we were when we were children. Sometimes that neuroplasticity starts to slow down as we age, but it doesn't go away. So what is neuroplasticity? It means that we are all the time making new connections in our brain. How many of you learned to do anything new this week or learned something new? And you remember that thing? Do you remember the thing that you learned? If you do, that's neuroplasticity in motion. So we are all the time making new connections. We are all the time pruning connections we no longer need. So what happens when we bolster our faith with gratitude? So we have faith that this power, this presence, is making things work in our lives, that we're stepping out in faith, that things are going to be good. If you give gratitude to all those things that are going good, guess what's going to happen? You're going to focus more on the things that are going good, and you're going to be less likely to give into fear, to give into anxiety, to give into any of your doubts, any of those things that say, I don't know. That's what it is. So Dr. Philip Watkins, a psychologist who specializes in the intersection of faith and gratitude, found this. He said, Gratitude, quote, is uniquely able to change people's focus from what they lack to what they have. You can change your focus from what you lack to what you have. So our faith helps us see more of our blessings. And when we go into a moment of gratitude, it increases our blessings and it bolsters and increases our faith. These things are not mutually exclusive. And the more you give gratitude, the more you're going to say, oh, wait, my faith really does work. Because I have this, I've brought about this, I had the power to do this, I, got through this situation. How many of you have gotten through a challenging situation? You raised your hands before with the presence of God. Did you stop to say, I am powerful when I go into the presence and that it is unlimited? Did you stop to say, this is flowing forth from me? Because your blessings, they didn't get there by accident. I don't believe in accidents, so to speak, in terms of our blessings. So we're going to take a small pit stop. I told you we were going to do this. We're going to go to a little village in India. And we're going to talk about a young man who receives an amulet. And if you've heard this story, try not to give away the ending to anybody else. All right, no spoilers. And if you do, we have spoiler alerts for that, I guess. So, this is a story that comes from Buddhism and comes from India. There's a young man, and this young man has a really diligent work ethic. He is intelligent, he's smart, he tries his best to do things and to be successful. But he struggles to find success. He doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't believe in his ability. I don't know that I can do that. I don't know if I'm really worthy to do that. I don't know if I have the power to do that. How many of you have heard yourself saying that before? Maybe? A couple of you? Right? So he hears that a monk is visiting the town, and he goes and he visits this monk, and he says, okay, I try, and I just can't be successful. Can you help me? And this monk listens to him, takes it into consideration, and then hands him an amulet. And he says, in this amulet are powerful mantras. Anything you have that is in your life that seems like a challenge, you will overcome it with this amulet. And the boy was thrilled. He was ecstatic. Oh, that was an easy answer. Should have came to the monk last time when he was in town. But the monk says there's a caveat. There always is in stories like this, right? He has to spend the night at the crematorium. How many of you could spend the night at a crematorium? And that's here in the U.S. That's not with the kind of taboos that they have of ritual impurity over in India if you touch a body or come in contact with those kind of areas where the dead are processed. So the boy was shaken. He was like, I don't know if I can do that. The monk assured him, you have this amulet. It will help you get over any challenge you face. And so the boy comes around to it. He's like, okay, I'm going to go spend the night at the crematorium. And he was still fearful. He still jumped if there was something that he heard. How many of you have jumped to horror movies before, or those little scary parts? So you can imagine like that little, even just to hear a little mouse go by or something like that. Then he survived the night. He had that little seed within him, and he survived the night. And in the morning, he couldn't be any more thankful. He was like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful I survived the night. And this amulet now is the reason why I survived the night. This amulet is mine, and it's powerful, and it's divine, and it's full of magical energy. I can do anything. So he goes back to the monk, and he says, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this wonderfully magical amulet. Do you think the boy's life changed? Absolutely it did. He went back, and he had a shift in perspective. Man, I have this amulet, it's all powerful. I can do anything. There's nothing holding me back. And it's rumored that he became the most successful man in his village. A year goes by, and the monk comes back on another pilgrimage. And the boy says, oh, I've got to give this monk my gratitude. My wealth has been overwhelmingly increased, and I've just had so much success. I've got to express my gratitude. So he sat down with the monk and he said, you won't believe how successful I've been. And it's all because of this amulet that you gave me. Thank you so much. The monk says, well, will you hand me the amulet? And the boy agrees, and the monk opens it. It's empty. There are no mantras inside. There was no power inside. The boy is shocked. He's like, did they fall out? What happened to them? Where's all the power? How could I have succeeded without the power of the amulet, without the mantras? And then the monk expresses something deeply powerful. He says, yes, it's been empty the entire time. It wasn't the power of the amulet. It was the power of the faith that you had. It wasn't the power of the amulet. It was the power of the faith that the boy held. I want you to think about how many times, I'm not saying that having faith outside of yourself is going to be a detriment. Sometimes it's what you need to get things done. Maybe it's faith in a support network outside of yourself because you're going through a challenging time and you just can't see yourself getting through it. But ultimately, the power of you getting through it doesn't come from outside of yourself. It's an inside job. It's the faith that you're holding. How many of you have moved a little mountain in your lifetime? Anybody moved a little mountain? Anybody feel like they moved a big mountain? Some of you? What's stopping you? What is stopping you from, instead of seeing that amulet out there, see it inside of yourself. Recognize that that is the power, that is the presence, that is the source. All right, we're going to go into a moment of meditation. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take a centering breath. I want you to see, as you close your eyes and breathe in, the seed of faith within you. It might just be a pinpoint of light, the size of a mustard seed. But see it within yourself. As we center ourselves for meditation today, I invite you to know that the power and the presence is always here. It's already here. It's already working in your life. The faith you need is already here. It's already working in your life. You have everything you need within you. This power, this presence, this source of substance, this universal life energy that is everywhere present is also in you. Now Now, sure, we're not all of God, but all of the qualities of that presence are in us. There is a tap of unlimitedness, unlimited potential that will allow us to move mountains. It will allow us to do even greater things. But we have to recognize it inside ourselves. We have to recognize that our faith flows from within. It is the consciousness centered in universal source. So I invite you to take a moment to center your consciousness in universal source here. To allow this faith seed within you to grow. See it shining brightly. See it taking root. See it unencumbered by any challenges you might face on the outside world. I am an expression of faith from Source. I am an expression of faith from Source. Breathe into the truth of this. I have trust in the flow of faith from within. I have the power to move mountains. I have the power to do even greater things. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me all the strength I need because God is present, is a presence unfolding in me. As you breathe into this awareness, I invite you to set one intention for this week. One intention for how your consciousness can remain centered in universal source. Maybe that's an extra moment of prayer or meditation. Set that intention now. Feel that light of faith growing, knowing that centered in the awareness of this presence, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And then I'm going to invite you to shift to gratitude. In your mind, think of 3 recent blessings. Let us say thank you for all of our relationships. Every moment we get to see the Christ in others. Every moment of kindness we get to extend. Every moment of kindness that is extended to us. Every blessing, seen or unseen, we give thanks for. We give thanks for those who hold us in prayer consciousness that we don't even know about. Because we know that that is energy in motion in our lives. We are not focused on lack. We are focused on our blessings, and we give thanks for them now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for each individual in the spiritual community. Thank you for each individual in my life. Thank you for every heart I get to touch, every soul I get to listen to. Thank you for every appointment, because every interaction is a divine appointment. It is a willingness and an open invitation for me to step out in faith and love. I invite you to affirm that for yourself. Every interaction is a divine appointment, no matter how big, no matter how small. As you bring awareness to your body temple, I invite you to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe you start by just gently stretching your arms or your neck. And when you're ready, you can return to this space. Everybody have an intention for this week? Everybody feel a little bit more powerful than they did when we started here today? Okay. I'm going to leave you with this quote today, but when I do, I invite you to know that gratitude, you don't have to do it every day for it to reap neurological benefits, physiological benefits, spiritual benefits. If you forget a day, just say, oops, I did it again, and go back to it the next day. 1 to 3 days of gratitude practice every week is enough to transform your life. 1 to 3 days. This is a quote from Charles Fillmore, all about his experience. It has been found by experience that a person increases his blessing by being thankful for what he has. And indeed, I am thankful for each and every one of you. And I am thankful for all that you bring to this community, because this community is part of you. And you are part of me in this community. And just thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, Melissa, for the uplifting message, and I'm going to work on that intention. Come up with.
Forget, just oops, I did it again.
Okay, so now it is time in our service to enter into generosity consciousness and open ourselves to that prosperity. And we know that by giving, we open ourselves to receive. So thank you to all who have continued giving to this spiritual community, your tithes and offerings. This is how we have this opportunity to operate this ministry, is by your generosity. We're truly blessed by your giving. If you feel led by Spirit to give today, we invite you to prepare your gift now. And if you feel led to make an online donation today, you can do that as well using our convenient PayPal QR code. Thank you. I'm not so with all these newfangled things. But anyway, you can visit our website too and go to the Donate Now or click on that Donate Now button. And, you know, there are many ways that you can give arrangements with your financial institution or your credit card or whatever you want to do. So we now invite you to hold your gift or the thought of your gift in your mind and your heart as we say our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. Go. Yeah. We're going to be blessed by a duet today. Instead of inviting the whole music team up, we're going to have special music. Rosalita and Tim. Do you want this one again? That one's
Test. There we go. Okay. Switch this one. Thank you so much for your message, Melissa. It is one of the things that I do try to practice. One of the things that I am thankful for is being able to come here every Sunday, to be part of the Unity community, to be out in the community. And, you know, there's so many ways, if those of you who don't know, to get involved, the different committees. If you're looking to get involved and make a difference, speak to anyone here and stay for the community chat afterwards, or the luncheon. So just, I'd like you to think about those things you have to be thankful for. We all have something. We can look on the news, find things we're not thankful for, but think about those things we are. The list should be long. Yes, there's hardships in our lives. We all have them, but there's so many things to focus on in the good. So, okay. Yes. I've been looking for some relief. I've been searching, but don't know what I need. Lost in my thoughts, don't know what to believe. The truth has always been in front of me. When I get caught up in the day by day, holding on to pain that just won't go away, I say thank you to the hard times for making me stronger. Thank you for all the lessons that are making me wiser. Thank you to those who were kind, you lifted me up. Thank you for all my blessings, I am so grateful. I just gotta say thank you. I just gotta say I am learning, don't know where life will lead. I am growing, find the best parts of me. Wherever I go, I will be positive, go with the flow, embrace the life I live. When I get caught up in the day by day, holding on to pain that just won't go away, I say thank you to the hard times for making me stronger. Thank you for all the lessons that are making me wiser. Thank you to those who were kind, who lifted me up. Thank you for all my blessings, I am so grateful. I just gotta say thank you. I just gotta say thank you. I just gotta say thank you. When I get caught up in the day by day, holding on to pain that just won't go away, I say thank you to the hard times for making me stronger. Thank you for all the lessons that are making me wiser. Thank you to those who were kind, you lifted me up. Thank you for all my blessings, I am so grateful. I just gotta say thank you. I just gotta say thank you. I just gotta say thank you. I just gotta say thank you.
Tim and Rosalita and the rest of the Unity Singers today. Yeah. Well, thank you, Melissa, for your message and meditation, and congratulations again on your ministerial licensing. Thank you. Oh, let's see. Thank you, Susan, for platforming for us today. And if you're on Facebook Live or if you're here in person, we thank you for joining with us today. Make sure, today is a special day, of course. Not only we recognize Melissa, but today is Third Sunday Social, and you know what that means. That means there's plenty of food back there for all of us to enjoy. So as you're eating food and sitting with one another and fellowship, make sure you say hello to Reverend Russ from Arkansas. Yes. And don't forget to say hello to Augustine and Rosa Peralta. They're with us today. And we have another special guest. There's Melissa, another Melissa. Now, Melissa just recently attended the Unity in Venice, Florida, so you can ask her about that. Okay. Well, we're ready to sing our peace song and our prayer for protection. So if you're able, please stand and we'll join in a big circle around the room.